Welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. That means it's Tuesday. This is Tech Talk. We're coming to you from Pahrump, Nevada, Valley of the Dirt People, back in studio. I was lost in the woods and out in the desert and a few other places. Glad to be back. Glad to see everybody. This is the show where we answer your motorcycle and motorcycle product related questions. We have a few of them.
Yeah, we have a few for the show. But
Producer Matt there in the background, pushing buttons, making things happen. This show is brought to you by a number of sponsors. Why do we have sponsors? So that we can be shills for them and we can influence you in ways you never even know. So, if you're watching this live, there's a screen up behind me. Actually, if you're watching the video at all, there's a screen behind me, and subliminally, these sponsors will be absorbed in your brain, and then you will just magically go to their websites and buy their products. Mm-hmm. But we wouldn't have them there if they didn't make good products. And of course, those products are Yamaha. We've got a lot of Yamaha news to talk about. The 2024 YZ information dropped, actually a little bit sooner than most people thought. We got some nice looking bikes. There is Moto. They're bringing you the segment that everybody loves, Roost or Endo. This is where, are we full tonight?
We're full tonight.
Full tonight, but you can still submit a bike. Actually, anytime. Even if you forget to do it now, you could do it later. You send us a picture of your bike. Send us a good picture of your bike. Watch the show, and then see what we complain about. And don't do that. But anyway, send us a picture of your bike. Tell us about the mods you did to it, why you did the mods, and then we'll tell you whether your bike roosts or endos. And if it's the one that gives us the most enjoyment, we give you a $100 gift certificate from Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co. They make parts and products for, well, they sell a lot of stuff and they tune a lot of things, and they have a lot of information. They have all the cool stuff. So Scott Sports, great goggles. Actually, really good goggles, because I rode at Washougal, and everybody talks about the shadows and the other stuff, and I had two different pairs of goggles that I went back and forth. I tried light sensitive, and there's no light sensitive that's that fast enough. But I went for the, why am I forgetting? I'm just drawing a blank on the name of the amplified lens. The amplified lens, it was tinted enough to make it good in the sunlight and the bright sun, but still not tinted enough to make it good in the shadows. And I tell you what, that's a place where you really want to have a clear lens, but I don't like clear lenses because they hurt my eyes, especially and it was weird. It was sunny up there, like in the Pacific Northwest. Strange. Climb, makers of awesome motorcycle gear. DDC sprockets. I've got one right here. I'm using it as a paperweight to hold down all of my notes. DDC chain wheels. These are stainless steel. They last forever. And if they don't last forever, then you must ride a lot more than I do, which is probably not possible. Trail Tech, Fasst Company, seat concepts, bulletproof designs, and double take mirrors, all bringing you our show tonight. So we are live on Instagram at the moment. And Austin Rayo says, Jimmy, how do I win that shirt?
Yeah, that is a nice shirt.
Ricky Brabeck.
Oh, really?
Ricky got this. This is actually, Sarah brought it up.
Uh-huh.
They were doing rally training the other day, and she goes, Ricky got you a river shirt. He called it a river shirt. So I thought I'd wear it on the show. It matches my hat. Mm-hmm. Matches our logo. Such a cool shirt. So how do you win this shirt? I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I don't think I want to give this one away. But is that what we do? That's how you get popular. You give things away.
Yeah, you do give things away. But speaking of giving things away, is there any updates on the pre-orders?
For the shirts, the pre-orders for the shirts.
Yeah,
I'm working. So this shirt next to me, except it's the gray one, we're gonna have a limited production run of those shirts very soon. And I was gonna announce it on this show, but I screwed up and I didn't make the form because I got to have the form ready. so that people can order them. So on the next show, I'm going to make this a priority. We'll get the Tech Talk Taco shirt up and running. We're going to get those limited time offer. It shows how much you support the show. And so this shirt, I'm going to make sure that we never do another one like it. It's going to be limited edition, and that means you're like an early adapter to Tech Talk Taco Tuesdays, because when this show gets canceled, grows, and everybody's it gets canceled, it's not around anymore. Whatever it does, then you at least have the shirt as a memento. So Mark, the Tech Talk Taco Tuesday shirt, you can buy it, and I will get it to you. Like, you'll get the first one, and it won't take a couple months like the other one did. So, anyways, Drakey the Snake says he knows Ricky races UTVs with him. That's awesome. Ricky's always getting me weird stuff. He got me sponsored by like a glasses company, and then Sarah got me sponsored by a glasses company, and I usually wear Scott glasses, but I've scratched or lost all of them, so I'm getting all hooked up with all these things. But it's cool to have friends that are super sponsored and different things like that. Okay, we are going to opinion on the look of the 50th anniversary YZ. Look at this. I'm gonna hold this up. I'm gonna hold it up to there. My opinion on it right there. Like, that is me on. I don't know what year this was. But I'm gonna say 94. I have to look at the helmet and think about this now. That helmet's up there, actually, I believe. It is. It had to be 91, 92, 93. This is a 90. I think this is 92. What year is the Yamaha retro graphics? Drakey was one of the kids on the Honda post with them. Oh, okay. Well, just tell everybody you beat him. That's what I do all the time. So, Pizza Wells is going to be the next Tech Talk Taco Tuesday design. What's Pizza Wells? What's that?
Pizza. I wonder if it means pizza wheels.
Pizza wheels?
I think.
Pizza wheels on.
Yeah, we were go. Yeah, it was a typo.
Oh yeah, instead of it, yeah, because we do pizza's good. Pizza wheels, yeah. I wonder who German Massa is. Is that
they were in on the.
They were on the Cove Talk.
Talk, yeah.
Yeah, he was from another country, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So tech guy, go ahead and send that to matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com.
Yeah.
With a description of the bike as well.
Yeah, so for Roost or Endo, you send in a picture, make it a nice picture. Send in, like, you don't have to list every mod. It's like you're not trying to sell the bike, although that's what it's called, Roost Endo or for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And strippers.
Occasionally.
There's nothing like putting strippers in anything and you get like 10,000 more views. So Roost Endo or strippers and for sale. That's what we're doing. So, see if we have any other. 92, 93 is when we're getting the.
Oh, a 30-year anniversary. That makes sense.
So that makes sense, because that would have been my 92. This helmet would have been my 92 ISDE.
Yeah, I'm going to switch the camera so it's closer to
helmet. Yeah. It would have been my 90. I got to angle it so the lights don't flash in. I'll get it down there. Okay. That would have been my 92 ISDE helmet. That would have been Australia, and that would be a 93 YZ 250. And it had Damon Bradshaw's number on it.
Oh, nice.
I think 45 was his number at the time.
92, this was this his peak year, or kind of like...
I can't remember even what year I did things. Like, I couldn't even remember. I was going like, what year did I ride the ISD? I don't know. I hit my head, and then... Now I wear goofy shirts and have a podcast.
Yeah.
So with a wall with a bunch of junk collected on the back of it that makes it look like it's cool in here. The well lit, plush dirt bike test studios. So, anyways, thanks everybody for joining in. Whether you're Instagram, whether you're live on the Facebooks or lives on the YouTube, or you're watching this later, if you want to comment, concern, have a question or whatever, type it in the chat. And if this show is gone, type it in the comments. And we go back through those. That's where we get a lot of our questions. I think we have I have some stuff to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have some callers. I'm trying to get more callers. I
Yeah.
don't even know what I did with my, hopefully my phone doesn't ring, but I think I got one that I'm,
If they want a phone call in, we
They
have to set up for that still.
oh, we can still do it through the phone.
Yeah.
So we might do that. We have to hang up on Instagram because they can't
Yeah.
hear anything when we get callers like live on the chat
Right.
stuff. So basically what you do is it's the Seat Concepts Hot Seat Hotline. It's actually a Zoom in line.
And the link's going in the chat right now.
And they're going to put the link up. So if you have a question, you want to come on the show, every once in a while we give out prizes to good content people. Like, in other words, whether you're a caller or on the Seat Concepts hotline, we enjoy people making our show better because I'm not very good at this. I've only been doing it 100 and how many times?
196.
Show 196. Thank you. I wish I had a thing where I could push and it'd give me applause.
Mm-hmm.
Get applause for myself. So, let's see. Do we have any other questions? No questions on the Instagram, but thank you guys, Dirtbike616, for getting that 92, 93. It's funny because it was 93. Yeah, so it would have been the 93 bike. We rode them in 92. That's how that works. So, okay, are we going to jump right into our questions then? Because it'll probably provoke some other comments.
Yeah. So let me go ahead and get them going. So we'll actually go with some of the questions that we pulled right off the chat from the right after our Cove.
So earlier today we went live and answered all of the questions on the Cove 450. So we're not going to talk about that too much, but we had a video on it. It got a lot of questions. So if you're interested in what we think about it, watch the video first. And then if you have any more questions, you can have your questions probably answered. And if that provokes more questions, then you call back up on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. So if you want to know what we think about that bike, because we were getting that question a lot before we rode it, go watch the video. 21 minutes of nothing but Cove talk, and then we probably talked about it for another 20 minutes, didn't we? Okay. What is Kirk Schreier?
So
Schreier.
I think it's Schreier.
Schreier.
Okay.
What
so
do you want to know?
450L and 450X share the same frame. Those mounts are used for the frame-mounted off-road race lights for Baja, etc.
I almost have to put my headphones on to hear you. Oh yeah, now I can hear you better.
Do you need me to say it again, or did you hear that?
No, I heard. I can read it too. I've got you gave me a buffer sheet over here, so I know what's going on. So he's talking about the Honda CR 450L and X. The frame has some mounts, and it's in people, like, the very first time I saw it, I totally speculated, like, this is for a rally tower mount or to mount some stuff up there, race lights and things like that. I don't think it's I don't think that it's big enough in itself, but there would have to be some additional bracketry for Honda to do it in a Honda way to bolt stuff on there. But they're there for a reason. They put those in there for some reason, and it hasn't been revealed. And if they haven't built that bike already, they're going to be late to the game. So I'm surprised. That's the one thing that constantly surprises me, is that it took a company that nobody knew about to do this first.
Well, sometimes you need a new company to spark innovations, because the other ones are they can be too caught up in their ways.
kind of set in their ways. And I mean, talk about what a great way to launch, in something that everybody's interested in. I mean, you see all these electric bikes doing this now. I'm going to talk about electric bikes in a minute. See a lot of electric bikes, and that's kind of crowded because everybody thinks that's where it's at. But it's like, hey, let's just take something that's completely missing. Dual sport adventure bike, lightweight, large fuel tank capacity. Go. It's just missing from the market. We have little ones, we have big ones. We don't have any real mid size. I once you're over, once you're in 2 cylinders, it's a big bike. So Mike H pops up with a question.
2021 Honda 450 RL neutral light stays on in first and second gear. Advice to diagnose. Will it hurt to leave it if it's not really needed?
That's a good question. So it stays on in first and second gear. So that's usually so on the shift drum. There's a sensor in your cases that picks that up. And how I would think if it would stay on one or the other. I'm just thinking how it works. I don't think it's getting the information from the ECU. I think there's actually, because I know there's different maps. That bike has different ignition maps for what gear you're in. So maybe it does know what gear it's in. That's a really good question. So what I would do, here's what I would do. I would take that sensor out, lay the bike on its side, and take the sensor out of the case and just visually inspect it to see if there's some debris caught up in there or there's a reason. And I would, put it neutral, shift it into first, look and see what it looks like, shift it back to neutral, go to second, see what it looks like, go to the third, and see if something changes in there as far as, what that, you're not going to be able to see, but if there's something that's blocking that sensor, that would be the first thing, just to see whether it's mechanical. If there's nothing inside of there, then it might be something electrical, like where the ECU is not totally able to, it's not able to distinguish between neutral and first and neutral and second. But yeah, I would check to see if there's not some sort of instruction. Oh, the bike has a get ECU. There's your problem. Yeah, Mike, I'm going to go back to something that I've said on this show many, many times. What was the last thing you did to the motorcycle, or what did you modify to create this new problem? So the get obviously is not sending the same level of information back out to the wires and stuff. So maybe, just trying to think of, that would indicate that maybe that light is controlled more so by the, like I said, there's different ignition maps for, it knows what gear it's in. Yeah, maybe, or there, I would still pull the sensor out and see if there's something in there, but I don't ever really look for neutral indication. It's not something I usually feel it, because I've actually seen bikes get kind of, the worst thing that happens is when the bike finds a false neutral, maybe between second and third or something like that, and it's not a real neutral, and then the vibration or something causes it to jump into gear when you think it's in neutral. I mean, I haven't done that too much, but it has happened. So if I'm relying on a light, then I think I'm too dumb to be able to ride a motorcycle. I shouldn't have to do that. That's just me personally, though. So it was actually a super sandy ride that was going on when the issue progressed over that day. That doesn't make any sense, but I would check that sensor. Maybe the sensor is loose and doing something funny. Like, that's why I was kind of curious if the ECU is telling that light to turn on, or it's actually some sort of a, like a trigger, kind of like, there's a switch on your brake lever. When you pull your brake lever and you hear the switch tick, and that's what turns the lights on analog bikes. Now bikes that are all CAN bus and all this stuff, it's all done through ECU control. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me know what you find out. If any of the stuff I said makes any sense.
So Tech Guy was saying, why can't Yamaha build a YZ350FX, and why can't Yamaha build a YZ300X with a starter? I ask the same questions every day.
I totally agree with you, Matt. And Yamaha, fine sponsor of this show. Please build a YZ350 size motor and put it in all the platforms, because that motor would be insane. I think Yamaha is just going to tell you our 250 is so powerful that we don't need to make a 350.
Is that actually what their response is?
No, but their 250 of all the 250s is the most 350 like.
Yeah.
But it would benefit. It would. I think it would really show how good a 350 could be. I think 350s right now, the Austrian brands are pretty good. I think if Yamaha made one, it'd be incredible. And why don't they put a starter on their philosophy with the YZ 2-stroke is keep it simple. They're trying to just keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. And therefore, going to electric starting or fuel injection, all this stuff at this time isn't exactly what they want to do, because I think it would drive cost up and drive profits down, because they're using a bike that's been around for a long time, and they sell plenty of them, and it's still plenty good, and so that's where they're at.
Would a good answer to the why no electric start, would that be stop buying YZ250s and then maybe there'd be an electric start?
Matt, we can't say that on the show.
Okay.
You have to buy Yamahas. That's the only bikes you can buy. So don't say stop buying YZ250s. But if you do want an electric start 300cc 2-stroke, there's an option. There's 3 different colors of the same option pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
There is that. And I think that, in all honesty, part of, maybe not on our super performance focused guys that are looking for this kind of stuff, there's a lot of people that are just looking for simple, and Yamaha has that, so not to say that I would really, just how good the YZ250 2-stroke motor is, because it's still really, really good. If they made a 300, with all the stuff on it, it'd probably be a really good bike too. Maybe they'll have to someday. Maybe, The only thing it probably wouldn't do is start as good. Yamaha has to figure out their electric starting. Just sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not.
Oh yeah.
So okay. More questions.
Yeah, we'll go back to the sheet here. So, John R had said, meanwhile, the Honda 450L has 2 mysteriously unused threaded holes on this head tube.
Yes, that's what we were talking about with it. It's there for something. Don't know what. Maybe they were going to make one of those, rally like bikes, and they just decided not to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we gonna go back to some chat stuff, or?
I see. Yeah, if there's stuff up higher, for sure, we need to keep up with this.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they would not be able to keep up with it. No, they'd be able to keep up with the demand. If I would think that they would sell, just thinking that the bike would be good, they would sell so many of those things, but maybe they already sell enough of those things. And, they're making a lot of different products. And you look across the product line, and I guess they feel like they've filled it up. But there was a time when Yamaha made a YZ50, a YZ60, a YZ80, a YZ100, a YZ125, a YZ250, and a YZ465. That was a lot of Yamahas. And now, when you look at with they have, YZ65, 85, 125, 250, 254 stroke, 450, and then they have the special edition ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of bikes still. But I know. I agree, tech guy. I totally agree.
All right, so Roach
Crew.
Let's see, looking at buying a new KX 450X, would you recommend waiting for the 24 model to come out or get the 23 model?
I have not ridden the 24 yet, so I don't know. But they have released the information on it. It's pretty much going to be an all-new bike. It seems like Kawasaki is whatever they do with the KX450R, they do with the X. So it's not like you're going to have to wait a year to get those updates. They do it right away because they don't really change a lot of stuff. So I think it just depends on how those, especially since you said X, it just depends on how those changes affect the kind of the handling and the chassis, because I'm pretty sure the motor is going to be fairly similar, and the motor with the different clips and stuff is for the most part tunable. Not nearly as tunable as the Yamaha, by the way. Power Tuner app, the best thing about the Yamaha 4-strokes, and I'm playing around with my WR and love it. But anyways, back to the KX4. You should actually, he's just actually, you should get the 24 YZ450 FX, because that's going to be an all new bike. That's going to be a good one. Trevor and I were just talking about this before we came on the air, because I finally got to ride the 23 YZ450. And when I'm riding, I'm going, oh, the FX is going to be good. The changes they made, I think, are going to carry over into the off-road bike quite a bit better. So, more questions?
Oh, yeah. Let me get them up here. So this is from last week's Tech Talk, where we did talk about the Cove a little bit. And I didn't think to go to last week's Tech Talk for some of the Cove questions. But, Jimmy, China's coming to get you. I love your rant. Now I don't feel alone in my paranoia, but the bike looks awesome.
China's coming to get me.
Yep.
Well, we talked about this. They're going to. They've already got the kids all hooked on TikTok, and so just one day, they're gonna activate the kids through TikTok, and they've been giving them Cove riding lessons. So these kids have 309 miles of range now, because they're gonna know to go hop on a Cove and then attack.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember, because it's all gonna be synchronized. They're coming to get me. What did the guy, he bought bikes based on DBT reviews?
Yep, Tech Guy.
He did.
Bought a 2015 and a 15 250 FX and a 16 450 FX based on the DBT reviews, saying they weren't wrong.
We're very good at describing how motorcycles work based on a large knowledge base of experience and taking opinions from qualified people that ride them. So that's cool. Tech Guy, long time supporter. We really appreciate that.
Okay, so Ron Hartle saying better metal means you need less of it. The Chinese metal isn't stellar, so that's why they over engineer with it to get the same as strength.
Because the metals are worse.
Yes. That's Ron's saying.
How come these questions didn't come up in the...
These were from last week's Tech Talk. These were the only two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So because they have inferior metal, they have to use more of it.
That's what he's saying.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, that's probably... I think it's not that they have inferior metal. I just don't think that their testing is as rigorous. And so they're just erring on the safe side, and heavier and stronger is safer. And why wouldn't you? You have companies now that do a lot of R&D and a lot of specializing to get. Like you look at the bicycle industry where they're going down to the, these grams on parts, and it's like they shave grams, but. I've watched companies like, Yamaha and KTM take the same attention to detail, and they'll just focus on a single part. They'll focus on a foot peg, or they'll focus on a brake caliper, and they're going to take this many grams off. And I just laugh because it's one mud puddle, or for me, one cheeseburger. And that doesn't matter too much anymore. You need a toot your own horn sound effect. Curly. He changed his name back to his regular name. I need a whole soundboard. I really want by show 200. I'll have this figured out. This whole
soundboard
platforming. This whatever we're because we're not a podcast. We're a
live show. Stream.
It's like a multi. It's a broad. It's like a broadcast, but a different word. Somebody told me the name of what we did. I don't even know what we do. Somebody said I couldn't do it, and guess what? So here we are. Lots of people on the Instagrams. We're gonna have to clip them off pretty soon because I think we're gonna get a call in here pretty quick. So.
Oh, sweet! Thank you, 1971 Puffy. We appreciate it.
Are there any aftermarket suspension for the Tenere 700 worth the money? Aggressive desert rider, just older now. So we're going straight to this question because he actually
You donated.
donated money to us.
Yes,
Wow.
thank you. We really appreciate that. It keeps us going.
It's like twice as much as we make on the whole show.
Yeah, from ad revenue.
Killer. Awesome. So yes, actually I have, just because you did this, it's gonna give me extra motivation to go into the garage and bolt on the TourTech shock that I got. So I have a TourTech shock for my Tenere to test because they want me to. They kind of know where it's set up for, which is probably not somebody that maybe is as aggressive as me, but I know how to adjust things and I know how to test things. So we're gonna put it on there and try it. So I will let you know. I don't know right now. I'm pretty impressed with the stock Yamaha suspension. And I'm not saying that just because Yamaha sponsors this show. I'm saying that because they did really good standard settings for an adventure bike. But when you say aggressive desert rider, that means pounding hoops. That's what that means to me. And I don't know of any adventure bike that I want to pound hoops on, or that I would knowingly pound hoops on. So, I think and having ridden heavy twin cylinder factory rally bikes, and back when we did it, there were not hoop-de-doos in rally races. Just you were going long distances and very remote places, so we didn't have that. And when we took the HP2 and brought it to Baja, and we had a lot of money and a lot of budget behind us, so much so that BMW wanted to win the Baja 1500 on this thing. And I said, no, you can't. And they said, we don't care. We want to try to win it. We'll pay riders and all this stuff. And I said, doesn't matter. Just because you can't get a big, heavy bike to go through bumps. And back then, bumps in Baja were getting ridiculously big. So we had an air shock. We had, custom regular spring shocks. And the air shock was amazing, by the way, but it would only last 250 miles before it would overheat and bad stuff would happen. So the answer is you're never going to get it to work like a dirt bike. Doesn't matter what adventure bike it is. But can you make it better? Absolutely. And this is the question I want to answer. Is it worth the money? The shock on the Tenere has the potential to be built up. Just like with a revalve and a respring, you can make it pretty good. I don't know if it would require having the body hard anodized, because once you start asking a smaller shock to do a lot of work on a big heavy bike, you're doing a lot of that with damping, and that could cause some issues. But I mean, as an adventure bike, I think it's great. I don't want to ride it like Pol Torres. I'm not that big and that strong. And
you don't want to take it to Romaniacs?
No, I don't want to do Romaniacs. I just watched that guy just smashing that thing, and and they've taken a lot of weight off his bike, and that guy's gnarly. Yeah. So
I saw his Prologue GoPro. Holy crap!
We almost landed on the dude.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that's one of the most gnarly things ever done. I should pull up a picture. There's a picture of me like running my head into the concrete after my Husaberg stepped out on the elevated log skipping thing. Mm-hmm. It was wet and started going sideways. And imagine enough space so that the bike can fit through just like foot peg width. So when you're skimming across it, like that, as long as you're going straight, your wheels won't fall in. But the minute you start going sideways, then the bike hooks. And all I think about is like my leg is going to snap off. And mm-hmm. So I just kept getting back and just trying to carry it. And finally I high sided off the end. So you high side off of the top of a table, essentially. So, 1971 Puffy. I will answer your question when I know the answer. Like I said, I'm kind of right now. If I was just doing my stock one, I definitely need to go up on a spring rate, mostly on the rear specifically. Mostly because of putting extra weight on there when I kind of camp and do stuff off of it. But it worked fine for most of the stuff. And I think if I had to go up like 2 spring rates on the rear to get the kind of balance I want, I'm going to have to bring the front spring rate up as well. So, but I will get back. Yamaha makes soundboards. What does that mean, George?
For the sound drops.
Oh, we used to use a Yamaha
It's
mixer.
It's the remote one.
Yeah, the remote one's a Yamaha mixer.
So
Yamaha bringing you mixers, pianos, Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and motorcycles.
Nice. So Jermaine had added something as well when we were talking about the metals, the Chinese metals, saying the weight problem is that many of the parts are standardized, sharing many parts with standard metals. Even with many specific parts, they can barely remove a few kilos.
So he said with standard models. So he's saying that they're using the same part across many bikes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the engines.
Yeah,
those engines, they make one thing, and we'll get into this a little bit more when we talk about the Can-Ams. They've been kind of dropping information in kind of weird ways, and when I saw the president and CEO of the parent company talking about his motocross and enduro racing history way back when on Can-Ams, I'm like, oh, they're doing something. They're really trying to do something. And then Jason Abbott got in touch with us today and shared a couple more videos, and they kind of started releasing images. Do we have an image of the bike?
Yeah, but I do want to cover this before we come back to that.
So anyhow, they make one thing and then they try to put it in as many things as possible. And when you're trying to build a high performance bike of some sort, like the Cove 450, they want that to be higher performance. You got to make everything just for that bike. I mean, yeah, sure, the brakes are the same and all the things, but when you start talking about, frames, they want that frame to be able to use other stuff, although I think that frame is pretty specific. So, but yeah, that's what he's talking about, the standardization. It's just cost and if they're going to try to sell it for a low cost and make money, then they've got to do it. So he says exacta, right?
Yeah,
exacto. Yep,
exactly. Perfect.
Okay,
so he did actually add in another point too that I had missed. He said, but the standardization is what in turn serves to make the parts better and safer.
Correct. And we'll get Jason Abbott on here pretty soon.
Yeah, and Jason, I'll put the link here for if you want to copy that for later.
Farther in there. And then Dirt Bike says, what if they just add electric start to the YZ 250X? It's not that easy.
Well, and wouldn't your answer kind of be the same, though? That their whole philosophy with the YZ 2-strokes is to keep them simple as possible?
Yeah, that's the thing. And Dirt Bike 616 says, I have a YZ 250, and it's nice to have a motor that is so simple that you just have to send it, that you won't have to send it to a shop to fix. So it is, there's just, so you think about it, to go electric start, you have to increase the charging capacity. So you have to do that. Then there has to be some extra gear, so it requires entirely new center cases. So you're adding weight and complexity. And, there's extra wires and things like this. It's just to try to keep it really, really simple. Yeah. So, and then Texas Jesus asked me if I remember the time we put recycled water into the radiators on our car. Yeah, because basically we had GoPros on us in a race, and I had to make sure the GoPro wasn't filming me putting recycling water back into the radiator. That's what I had to say, because he pointed at me, goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Putting recycled water back in the radiator." Yeah, I remember that. And Jermaine is sorry for his bad English. Actually, it came through in a different language.
Yeah. So I actually put it through Google Translate, and I got the exact same answer that he put in for English.
It eventually switched up. Yeah. No, that's it's no problem. We like to provide an international show here. We talk to the whole world because there's no borders anymore, evidently. Let's see, Dirt Bike, spelled BYK. What does he want to know?
I was talking to guys in China about their experiences with the production Cove 450. First glaring thing is they are paying $6,000 US dollars for a new one. They are going for $4,500 US dollars.
They're paying
used, going
US
44
dollars for a new one,
and then 4,500 used.
Talking to guys in China about their experience with production Cove. Huh. 6,000 for a new one, and they're going. Well, that's it's like anything. If there's tariffs and duties on importing and exporting, there's shipping costs or stuff like that.
Adds $3,000 worth the import to get it to me here.
Yeah. And what you don't see is the majority of the cost of a dirt bike in the United States specifically is legal and insurance and homologation and it's not just the parts of the bike. And certain bikes is, I think, especially the motocross bikes, you think about it, the selling CRF 450Rs cover Jet Lawrence and Chase Sexton's salary. Not even close.
No.
That it's won every motocross national. So it's clearly the best bike ever, right? This is what people say. It's winning everything. Honda's getting a ton of exposure on it. No way in hell is that going to cover the bonuses that they're having to pay out, which is a lot of it's done through insurance and stuff like that. But some of those guys are really hard to insure to get their bonuses paid for the company. Sometimes the championships are still available, but like that, it's expensive to get a bike over here. Cove is running a factory rally effort, so that's costs money, and so there's other things that kind of tack on to the costs of things. So yeah, $3,000 is I bet you. So if you went and buy, that'd be interesting. If you went and bought one in China, you had a Chinese buddy or something that could buy it, and then they could put it in a box and ship it over here, and you actually did it properly. Snuck it in. Did it properly, which means sneak it in. Mm-hmm. It probably cost you a couple grand. Yeah. By the time you did it, so, and you're not doing it. And then on top of that, the people that are importing here need to make some money, in doing all this. So yeah, it's the business side of it, which I know nothing about. Everybody tells me I'm adverse to making money, but that's not what's his name that sent us some money. What was the guy?
1971.
1971 helped us out.
Puffy, yeah.
1971 Puffy. Thank you very much again. Hey, I'd like to give a shout out to our friends at Inside Line Moto. I was going to wear the Inside Line Moto shirt today, but I got this nice River shirt, so couldn't wear it. Go. Okay. Any other?
Jermaine had also added, it's only a reliability problem because today there are Chinese motorcycles with more than 100,000 kilometers in Argentina.
Oh yeah, there's lots of they have no problem building motors that run for a long time and continue to run where higher performance engines would just explode. These things are, it's not like the whole old Honda like XR bikes that ran at a pretty good performance level for a long time. They started at a lower performance level and they run and run and run and they get worse and worse and like can suck sand and the valves can flop around and they're just built like tanks sometimes. And then you have one that'll go 200 miles and then the crank will snap in half. That's just kind of quality control. So, yeah, it's popular. Somebody says that True Lizzie Sorelia says, I think he asked about peeing. That's exactly right. It was recycled. That's what recycled water is.
Yep.
Sometimes I like to say that this is it's beer flavored energy water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of carbs.
Yeah, it's beer flavored energy water. It's not really. It's kind of beer flavor. It's not really beer.
Mm-hmm. If
you're a beer snob or something like that, that's why I like to drink tequila, or tonight whiskey, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
Oh.
Okay. Hey, Instagram. It was great hanging out with you guys. Thanks for watching. If you want to continue, go over to our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel. We're live there for the rest of the show, where you get to see everybody's favorite segment, brought to you by Moto, Roost, or Endo, where we like to tell you that your bike hopefully provided us some entertainment. So we will see you soon. And now, okay.
All right. So
we set a new personal record on Instagram.
Nice.
It must have been the shirt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ricky.
So I'm gonna go back to the sheet here really quickly. So NC4648 had asked, "Hey Jimmy, I just picked up a 23 Yamaha YZ250FX. I ride in Arizona. I was wondering if you had any maps for some tight single track or flowy single track."
Yes. But it kind of depends on you. So when somebody asks me for a map, I usually get back to them. I think he sent me an email today. I told him to come on the show, and I actually wanted to talk to him because this is the question I have for him. It's like, what is the stock one doing right now that you don't like? And at that I need to know, like, at what throttle position, what RPM is that not doing it? Because he could be, let's just say, for instance, he's a really light rider. This is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday 196.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. 196. And if my fat fingers could do that, I would be good. So if he was really light and he was telling me that the low end was not where he wanted it, and then we talked about it a little bit, and I find out that he's actually, like, it's really just the on-off throttle response, it would be much different than a guy who was, like, really heavy that was telling me that he was having a problem with the low throttle response. And you find out that it's a little bit higher up in the RPMs, because, like, the light guy can get away with something that the heavy guy would stall, would make the bike stall. So there's a lot more to it than just, and I can send you a couple different maps. That's no problem. But then you just, plug them in. But I'd like to send you a good map, or at least say, or I'll say, here's the map that I'm using, but if this doesn't work, or if you feel this, try these changes. Because ideally, you want to be able to make your own map. That's the cool thing about, having the ability to customize this stuff, is that, you can take it and then you can look at, like, I like this one, but I don't like this one. You start looking at it and then you go, oh, I see what's different here. So it does make a pretty big difference in what you can do. But some people just want to plug and play. They just want to tell me what's better. I want to put it in. So, but I don't like to send out something, because I've sent stuff to people and they go, oh, that sucked. And I'm like, for me, it didn't.
Right.
And now that you said that, now I want to talk to you even more, because I want to figure out, like, why. Tell me why. So that's the thing. Okay. Next question.
So this is actually from an older video from our Beta 300 teardown from John's Beta.
Okay.
I'm kind of into the 24 RX 300. How is the Beta build quality?
Oh, he's asking about it because he saw our rebuild on the old one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? The motor's all exactly the same. I mean, not exactly the same, but it's the same architecture.
Okay.
I don't think that the Beta quality has changed at all. It seems like they just stayed. That company's like 120 years old. I mean, they've been around for a long time. So they know how to do it. So I've always been impressed with the Betas. They're a little heavy, but that, there's more motorcycle there. There's some heavier parts in there. I think one of the things, it'll be interesting to see what happens with their motocross bikes, like what they do when they really start going motocross racing. If they actually start building a very specific, or they really start to kind of hone that thing down and make it smaller.
Because they're in for 24 Supercross, aren't they?
Yep, they're gonna. Yeah.
Do they have Benny Bloss? Do they have anyone else, or?
I think they're gonna have 2 riders, is what I heard.
Okay.
Yeah, not totally up on exactly what they're doing, but they've got a guy riding the MXGPs right now, and so they're committed. They're doing stuff like that. So, you know what news dropped this week? Speaking of new stuff,
yeah,
it has to do with motocross. Triumph
New frame.
Finally showed. Well,
Yeah,
it's an all new bike.
Yeah.
They finally showed something. They've kept that thing under wraps pretty well.
Yeah.
There's been some kind of half-assed little videos popping up here and there. When I used to work at a magazine, we would be all over trying to get spy photos and info and different things like that. Now I barely care, but Ricky Carmichael says, "Hey, look at the new frame." So I saw that. We have it up on Dirt Bike Test. We have that video up if you want to check that out.
I forgot, who was their primary test rider? It was Ricky Carmichael.
Ivan Tedesco.
Tedesco, that's who it was.
Yeah. Or I don't know if he's his primary guy, but he's definitely doing some stuff. There's a lot of guys, but
and there's a GP guy too, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And so they have really the probably the guy that they leaned on the most was Dave Arnold, who is really sharp guy. Was responsible for the factory Hondas that were just sought after back when they were works bikes, and then he could also kind of deconstruct the problems the riders were having even when they had to go to production chassis and stuff. He could figure out what they needed to do. He understands chassis dynamics and things like this. It's an interesting design. Surprisingly, they're saying it's their own design. They just copied Yamaha 2-stroke aluminum frames. Why is he 125 and why is he 250?
Wait, was it aluminum frame bike?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's aluminum. Yep. So it's a center backbone, not a spar, which there's a lot of advantages to this. It's kind of simple. But they haven't shown the motor yet. And I think the motor is going to be pretty conventional. Just judging by the shape of the frame. I don't think they're going to do anything weird like spin the cylinder around backwards or have a side intake or anything crazy like that. But the chassis, the frame that they showed looked pretty conventional. So that means that I think that design kind of limits what you can do with the intake. It has to be, if it's a center backbone, it's hard to do like a downdraft right out of the top. Which is kind of what you sort of want. You sort of want this. They want to have a real clean intake track, and considering they're starting out with a 250, which is a very horsepower dependent class, that's going to be the interesting thing to see. What that motor does, and I'm sure if it's slow, it'll handle really good because that's what slow bikes do.
Yeah.
but maybe it's going to be a ripper. It'll be interesting. I mean, that's now we're waiting for the motor news.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll kind of drop the motor, but they're kind of.
Did they tease?
They tease that they're going to kind of do it in segments and things. I think what's going to happen is that they're actually going to start riding this thing in public pretty soon, and some of these racers that have signed contracts to go race this next year are going to get on it, and they want to make sure that they tell us about it before. Those, because at that point they can no longer keep it secret. There's just too much. There's too many man friends and people that work at the tracks and stuff that we'll see all that stuff. But it's good to see them actually, showing something. That's a good step. But we'll, like I said, to be determined. We have. Oh, I went to the Alpine Stars Ride Day up in Washougal. I want to talk about that. That was pretty cool. So the day after the Outdoor National up at Washougal, Alpine Stars introduced their 2024 gear. You have some photos of this, Matt, I believe.
Yeah.
You have just throw that group photo of everybody standing out there in front up on the screen. And so if you,
I will soon here. Sorry, I was doing some Zoom stuff.
Yeah, you're not able to see this if you're listening to it, of course. But we're standing on one of the jumps at Washougal. This
is the post that Alpine Stars actually put on their Instagram, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it is.
I didn't pull anything out of the toilet this morning. I didn't go on the Instagrams yet.
Mm-hmm. But no, because I saw this on Instagram. I was like, it was from Alpine Stars, and it took me a second to find you.
Oh, I have a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, that's how I found you.
Yeah, cowboy hat. So I'm the fat guy. Fatter. There's a lot of really fit people there. Like some of those guys run their pants really, really tight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not tight around the butt, a belly.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're tight everywhere.
Yeah.
Some of those they look like they've somehow got like a 26 waist chassis with 32 sized legs. So, but what an awesome experience to ride around the track. So thanks to Alpine Stars. The 24 gear is they've added more stretchy stuff to a lot of the stuff. Just working on getting a better fit. They have lots of different colorways. I should tell you this segment is brought to you by Climb. How does that work, Jimmy? Well, because Climb supports this show. Climb makes the gear that I wear most of the time. But a lot of times when I'm doing photos, when I go do photos at motocross tracks, which isn't that often anymore, but when I go do that, I generally wear Alpine Stars gear because it's good. I like it. Actually, it fits really good. I'm a 34, and their 34 pants are actually roomy enough, especially for like if I decide to wear knee braces, which I usually do when I ride at the track. But I didn't this time just because I haven't been riding the track and just went with knee cups. But let's pull up the picture of the big jump in the back.
Okay. Do you want your picture?
Yeah,
first?
my picture first. So there's a big jump in the back. Actually, I bet you if you were good with this, you could go side by side. Could you put them up? Can you put two?
Yeah, I could. Here in a second. Just
you got to shrink that down. Show the air time in the back. But so I'm wearing the super comfy Alpine Stars gear. So do they get to see it sliding all over the screen?
Yeah, they see this.
They see it slide. They see you doing all the work. Matt's pushing buttons like crazy right now. So this is that big. They call it the road jump in the back. And so the YZ, I rode the 23 YZ 450. Yamaha brought some bikes up there for the journalists and stuff to ride. I got to ride that around, and it was so comfortable that that I was able to easily get 9/10 of the way over that. 9/10, but like the transition on that jump was it had a huck to it, and I mean, if you saw any guys doing whips off of it, oh, here's where we're gonna get the other photo up there. If you saw the guys doing whips off, so Brock Tickle does a lot of test stuff with Alpine Stars gears. He wears their boots and helmets, and so I grabbed the photos. They had the same photo of Brock doing the jump, and Matt's going to put this up here. So this is the difference between old Moto guy. This is the angle that you take going over. They hit this thing so stinking fast they have to scrub it, and then they're actually getting the bike set up in the air so that they land turned when they they're landing turn. I just go off of it nice and straight. In fact, one time, so this is the cool part about it. I got to ride on the track with Jet Lawrence, Chase Sexton, Jason Anderson, guys like that. Of course, they're just blowing past the eye. And so I can attest to how much the Roost hurts there, which I've known this because I've ridden a local race and a Grand Prix up there before. But yeah, this is the
difference.
That's me doing a whip. In fact, I think, because the way that those guys go up on the jump face, there's kind of a line in a little bit of rut where it actually started turning because they're actually turning and scrubbing. And so my rear end, even though I'm trying to get the front end to go down where his front end is thing, I think my rear end is actually falling the wrong way right now. As I'm falling out of the sky, he's aiming down, and I'm just going, well, I hope I make this stinking thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, gear was comfortable, and then the very last one of my last laps there, I decided to get 10/10 over it. And I did a nice, like, I'm really good at this. I'm like a pro at this. I over jumped a little bit, so I landed down at the bottom. Hands came off the handlebars. That's why I'm scratching this scab on my. I flew into the. I thought the hand came off, and then I couldn't get on the brakes because it turns right there. You land and you're in the turn. And I didn't want to shoot off the high part of the berm, so I kind of went straight. And luckily there was a fence that kind of slowed the speed as I kind of went into the pungy sticks of the forest. This is why I just shouldn't. This is why I need to ride 125s around motocross tracks. But I did ride our Yamaha WR250 test bike on the track, and that was a lot of fun. So when people ask, go ahead and throw that photo up there. When people ask, do you guys test these bikes? How do you know the suspension is too stiff, too soft, whatever? That's a Honda 450. See, I do know how to get on the gas out of a turn. Put that back up there.
Oh, no, they didn't see that one yet.
Oh, send it up there. Come on. See, I know how to get on the gas coming out of a turn. But everybody else tell me it's like it's because you're sitting too far back in the seat, and the bike did a wheelie. But no, put the Yamaha 250 one. It's the one with the headlight. I don't know if that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there it is. That's the WR250 being ridden around a motocross track. And so I went out, rode around, played around with maps. Because at that point I wanted, and this thing has the competition ECU on it and stock muffler still. And I was like, I still had a really good fun time. In fact, some guy came off the track and told me he almost landed on me because I wouldn't jump in the back. And so when we start talking about like, hey, how does the suspension work? What does it do? I had the speed coming up to that jump to be able to do it. But the suspension would compress so much going into the jump face and then start rebounding that you just couldn't get the distance. I imagine if I was really good at scrubbing, I could actually start scrubbing like before the suspension started rebounding, but then I wouldn't jump very far. I'd probably jump into the face anyways, which was where I was landing when it was going there. But yeah, Alpine Stars, thanks for letting me come out and ride the track and testing out the gear. Got to wear the new Tech 10, the newer version of Tech 10 boots, which I haven't worn before. Man, they've improved that boot. I wasn't a big fan of it before. I'd still have to play around a little bit because my one ankle is kind of funky to get, because it has a booty inside of it and has hinges on it. And before the Tech 10 always to me felt like a slipper. I was always a Tech 8 guy. And I know some people like were Tech 8 people and they went back to Tech 7 because they just didn't like Tech 10. Give it a try. Good boot. Really, really good boot. So Baja Bound Adventures, thank you. I don't know if is that Tim or Jen? Which one of the Baja Bound Adventures is that? So it's probably Jen because Tim wouldn't say anything nice to me. But anyways, had a really good time testing out testing out the new gears. Got to hang out with racers. Although I don't really talk to Eli a little bit. He remember being on the show.
Oh shit, he did.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He remember talking about people's bikes on Roost or Endo.
Nice.
Yeah. He was in a good mood. Like still. And he hadn't announced that he's racing again. I know somebody asked the question earlier when I mentioned I was there that he's announced he went to the Yamaha thing and announced on last Wednesday that he's coming back and seemed happy, which is cool. I mean, like I remember when that guy like was on his Kawasaki all the time, he just seemed miserable.
Yeah.
Not a happy dude at the time. So, but yeah, those guys were ripping around the track and it's cool to be able to watch the guys race at a national and then get a chance to actually go out in the track and they groomed it. They made it nice because some journalists probably would complain about having to ride around a rough track, but super cool. So got to do that.
Ricky Brabeck,
Well, my phone says Brabeck. When I ask it to call him, it says, "Do you want to call Ricky Brabeck?" I'm like, yeah, and then he blocks me. But yeah, it's a nice shirt, Ricky.
Yeah. Hey, how come there was no Honda rally bikes at this intro?
At what intro?
The Alpine Star intro.
Oh, like last time?
Yeah.
Because it was in Washington. Yeah, they didn't invite the rally team out. Although I think the guys are out here because one of the guys from the KTM team got hurt. So Kevin Benavides, I heard, broke his wrist. It was on the news release circuit today. So River Shirt. It's called a River Shirt.
Nice.
This one. So anyhow, what cologne is Matt wearing? Jerry, he's far enough away that I can't smell him, but I will do that during the break. That's what I'm going to get excited to do. But I did a little research. I was doing a little research on our show here, our cross-dimensional, multi-platform show. And Jerry always wants to know if where his show was in. And the only way I can judge how good a show is in the ratings. And if I was better prepared, which never am, I would tell you which number show it is so you could go help Jerry's ego here. But Jerry, you're in the top 20. The number one co-host based on show views, Logan Tyler.
Yeah. He's
on that shocking note. We're going to take a quick little commercial break,
And we can come back with some, I think, Jason Abbott.
Okay, we'll come back with some Jason Abbott, some Can-Am talk, maybe some Stark talk. Talk about new Yamahas. We'll get going. Okay, see you on
the defending champion, the all-new Yamaha YZ450F.
What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it, to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
Okay, welcome back to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, live from Pahrump. Jimmy Lewis, Matt Mattoon in studio. We have Jason Abbott on the phone. Jason helped us out with the Roost Endo a couple weeks ago, and he is also Can-Am's. I saw your title changed.
Well, the title's kind of been the same. It sounds very professional, but the global PR specialist for the Can-Am on-road division, which covers the three-wheel vehicles and the newly announced two-wheel electric motorcycles. So that's the exciting deal. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it, and having a real job, instead of out there popping wheelies and doing editorial stuff.
You couldn't make it as a YouTuber?
Yeah. The YouTube thing, man. I hate hearing myself on video. So
good. Well, we're doing that to you tonight. Thanks for joining in. But this is instead of just commenting on other people's bikes, although you're more than welcome to stick around for Roost Endo. So Can-Am.
Hey, do I get to
used to make motorcycles? Yeah, so used to make motorcycles back in the day. Interesting note. I remember when John Martin was like Can-Am's guy, racing the cross country and I don't know if they had GNCCs back then, but yeah, there's definitely some history there.
Yeah, there's a lot of history. I mean, they were winning the ISDE, they were winning the motocross championships. They were very, very disruptive back in the day. So yeah, it was that was what, 50 years ago when they started the Can-Am motorcycles back in the day. So we just recently had the 50th anniversary. So just in time for the electric motorcycles.
So when they're talking about motocross, were the Jones brothers, Gary Jones and his brother, racing those things?
Yeah, Gary was definitely one of them. I mean, there's a list of iconic names. But yeah, Gary was definitely involved. Dwayne, man, I love that guy. He was such a good dude. We used to go
Yep.
in his garage back in the day when I worked at the local motorcycle dealership. And man, he used to do suspension, and he used to take his little grinding tool and put his name on all the suspension with the grinding tool, so you knew that Dwayne did your suspension. So yeah, he was a good dude for sure.
Yeah. So I kind of heard there was bikes coming. And I suspected they were electric. You hadn't said anything, and then today we sort of got a glimpse of them, and then I thought it was going to be one. The first video I watched, it was just all teasing. They didn't really kind of show anything you could see, and then bang, we got pictures. And so Matt, we've got a picture that we can pop up of the adventure bike, and so they are electric, and like earlier we were talking about sort of. Cross-platforming thing, and the kind of the interesting thing with electric stuff is that you can sort of build your engine / battery, platform, and then start wrapping different things around it. And then so the street one, what did they call it? This one's called the.
So the what I also call it, I say it's a light adventure bike. They call it, say, like a dual sport model, but I feel like it's more along the lines of a light ADV. But that one is called the Can-Am Origin. And then the street version, which is it's more kind of like a roadster, like a naked roadster. Like it's pretty cool looking. That one is the Can-Am Pulse.
Yeah. So they kind of like I said, they look like the core part of it, the engine part of it is similar, but styling. I'm not a super big fan of the upper square part. The top part. I like everything behind it. It looks good, but it's hard to predict styling and where trends are going and stuff. And you see so many different designs, but single-sided swing arm.
Yeah, single-sided swing arm, and it's basically, it is pretty much the same platform. You just kind of have different models from the same platform, but it's all based around the Rotax e-Power engine that BRP, which is the parent company of Can-Am. BRP is producing the electric engine for it. So it's an exciting time.
Is it a chain drive?
I'll have some information on that here in a few weeks for you. It is not a chain drive, but I will have some information on that. When we move forward here in a few weeks. So, but yeah, the production facility. They built a whole factory, or they're building a whole factory just for the production of these motorcycles. So it's they're all in on this. This is a serious project. It's not something that they're just gonna like, oh, show up, let's do this and have some fun. No, they're really serious about it. There's a lot of really talented engineers involved with this project, from the lead designer to the lead to the lead of the whole program, and then the testing division. Like everybody is very, very, very smart and very well versed in their individual categories. So it's I did actually have a chance to ride it recently, but it was impressive. So
That's cool. So just what I've seen, especially like with where I pay attention to is in the UTV side. I mean, I've seen so many of the it's the Spider, right? Is the 3-wheeled?
yeah, the Spider is the larger one, kind of more touring, and then the Riker is the smaller one, which is kind of more of a urban style, smaller, sporty. So they cover all of the bases, right? The Riker is a small one, the urban. Then you have the F3, which is super sporty, but it's bigger, and so you can kind of do a little bit of everything with it. And then the Spider RT, which is the touring model. That one is super comfortable. We were able to I was able to spend some time on the RT recently in Malibu. We did a ride. We had a collaboration with the shoe surgeon where we did some custom Rikers, and then we created some custom riding shoes, Can-Am inspired riding shoes. And I was able to spend some time on the Riker and the RT, actually the F3 special series as well. And man, they're a lot of fun, and it's just a whole different experience, and it actually opens the road to a whole new category and people that maybe wouldn't ride traditional motorcycles. It allows more people to get into riding.
I see how many people just out here are converting their Harleys or their Goldwings into trikes, and so it's like all of a sudden you can buy something that actually works.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They're hitting a whole other side, right? Like the big thing in the motorcycle industry is how do we expand it, right? How do we get new riders? Like that topic has been in conversation for I can't even tell you how many years. How do we get new riders?
Well, what you guys do is Can-Am. What you have to do is you have to figure how to get people out of side-by-sides and onto dirt bikes.
Yeah, we need
This is where I was kind of going with some of the stuff like the 3-wheeler things, which are getting more and more popular. Especially, we see tons of people that they rent them in Vegas. They're always out here. They'll do loops and stuff, and there's big groups of them. Then the side by sides, I sort of remember when they just started getting popular and how far they've come. You watch Can-Am and Polaris just push each other with the design and development of these these things. So I kind of remember, and I don't want to sound bad here. I kind of remember when the Can-Ams, they had no problem making a lot of power and stuff, but they were sort of a little bit junky. Like they put a lot of power into a kind of a chassis that wasn't ready to handle it. And then now where you see where they've come with these things, it's just they're getting better and better. And if they're at that point with if they're learning this stuff with the motors, with the side by sides and with the 3-wheelers, the cars, it's going to come into the motorcycles too.
Yeah, absolutely. The side by side, the 4-wheel segment is grown leaps and bounds, and they're so cool, and the advancements that they've made in that side by side category is huge. So, we have the Red Bull factory racing Can-Am team that did Dakar, and what I mean, they have a huge effort on that side, and man, like I said, it is definitely different than the original ones that you're speaking of, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've rode in some early ones and then I've ridden in a newer one, and it's like night and day. But and then so there's this whole, like, on the dirt bike side especially, everybody's like what's going on with electric? Like, where is electric? And I'm still like, I don't know, because I don't know if it's ready for prime time. I think when you see the big manufacturers, the Hondas, Yamahas, KTMs really jump into it. KTM is kind of dabbling in a little bit, but I kind of think that they're going to change platforms, and they're going to change voltages and batteries and stuff. I think this is still evolving and growing. We've all talked about, the real place where it's going to adapt quickly is just urban mobility.
Absolutely.
Just having something that's quiet, that's easy to fuel, for lack of a better term, that's low maintenance, and that's where these electric vehicles will start. And so my kind of question is, especially when I see something that's shaped like an adventure motorcycle or dual sport motorcycle, and I know you probably can't tell us, is it comes down to range and how or where can I charge this thing and how long does it take?
Yeah, that is, that's the number one question with everybody, right? Like, when you're trying to equate it to, the experiences that you have on combustion engines, that's one of the first things that come to mind is range and power and whatnot. But like you were saying, the urban side and the accessibility of it, right? Like these motorcycles are going to open up a whole new category of riders because, say somebody was maybe, some people don't like the noise, right, of a traditional
Right.
motorcycle. Some people don't like having to do the maintenance. Some people don't like, some people don't know how to use a clutch. A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, that's what I say. They're very easy to ride.
Yeah,
because it's just turn the throttle and you get the hardcore motorcyclists say, oh, we don't want everybody to be able to do it. This is our special territory, and it's like, no, I think you do want more people to do it, and it'll kind of see, we'll see where it goes. I think we're starting to there'll be kids coming up now, just like when you were a kid, you couldn't ride a KTM because they didn't make one. And then they started making 50s, and now you have kids that have grown up and they've ridden nothing but KTMs. And
yeah, I mean, dude, my son, like, he's a perfect example, right? So he's 12, he'll be 13 next week. He's grown up around electric, right? Like we had an OSET 20 that he grew up on, and he loved the OSET electric bike, right? Like that thing was amazing,
right.
Like the trial style. And then
still to this day, right now, if you said, Jimmy, what's the best electric bike made? OSET.
Yeah, those things are rad. Like I would even ride it too. Like it was a lot of fun. And then he had a PW 50, and then a KTM 50, KTM 65, and then a CRF 110. But then he was having the chance to ride the KTM electric 50 years ago,
right.
and we did a test actually with him, and dude, he loves electric. He thinks electric is the coolest thing, right? And so this is a whole new generation that has been, they've grown up around a different world, and so their thought process is no longer what the OG thought process of the old school two-stroke, right? It was the same thing with two-stroke to four-stroke, and now we're going to electric. It's the same pushback and it's the same conversations. It's like I don't like the sound of this one. I don't like the sound of that one. I don't like the characteristics one. They all kind of do the same thing, and I actually. I get a kick out of riding an electric bike where you can hear your wheels spin, and it's kind of funny because to me it's not that they're not that quiet. When you're on the bike and you hear things rattle around, you hear it hitting the tires and stuff like that. Because I ride a lot of bikes with quiet mufflers, so even some of my gas powered bikes are a little bit quiet in the grand scheme of things, and. So it's, sound is one thing. I mean, if it's really going to bother somebody that much, actually, I just got a business idea.
Yeah.
I'm going to make an app.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say this out loud. I will. No. I'm
Are you going to make the app, or are you going to have me make the app?
I'll have you make the app. I'm patenting this right now. You better start working on this the minute that I say this.
Okay.
Because somebody else will.
So you made it.
This app connects to your throttle. It knows your throttle position, and it makes a noise in your headphones for whatever you want. It can be a CR500, it could be a YZ125, it could be open megaphone on a TT500 Yamaha, and so you can have the experience of your life on your electric bike.
It's gonna be like the movies where they take a four-stroke and they put an old school two-stroke sound to it when the dude takes off. You know what I mean? Like you could do whatever you want.
That's it's Terminator. It's Terminator. The kid on the XR100 with the 16-speed transmission.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He did like 16 upshifts when he was getting chased by that Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell John to clip this section. That's a really good nugget to pull out.
No, but man, like
Jimmy's business idea.
seriously, there's a whole other thing to it, the electric side of things. And yes, like
Right.
when say the other manufacturers jump into it, that'll be cool. But honestly, like Can-Am's a very large company and they're going all in. So in reality, they're the first like large manufacturer to just go all in, right? Like against everything. They're just, here we are, this is what we're doing, and they're going for it. So
it's cool. It's cool to see. I mean, I know how big of a company it is. They're making airplanes, right?
So there's a different split. Like there's Bombardier and then there's BRP, right? So BRP is they're the parent company for Can-Am off-road, Can-Am on-road. They have Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo. They have a couple different boat companies. So the BRP is separate from Bombardier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, I'm excited. I want to, like I said, I'll ride anything. So I'll test it out, and if it puts a smile on my face, then it's a good motorcycle.
And
so,
it will. You'll be smiling, and you will have a chance to ride it. It's. I mean, I definitely want to say more.
Just tell them I'm an influencer. Just say, don't say I'm a journalist or anything like that. Just say, I know this guy, he's an influencer. Hey, George wants to know if it will Harley sound be an option on my app. And I think I'd probably get in trouble with the sound. They might run into some patent issues if it went.
Wait, did they actually patent it? I thought they tried to.
Well, Honda got in trouble because theirs sounded too much like a Harley. I think at one time.
Yeah, they tried to detune it and make it run worse in order to emulate the Harley.
Yeah, because they didn't use the same engine configuration, but they did something to make it sound, and they like literally almost got in trouble for it to get the whatever sound that. Hey, every people ride for different reasons. There's different things that excite you and whatever. And I mean, that's in all honesty, that's the cool thing. We see it when we bring people through the schools. Mm-hmm. Just how much, when their riding improves and all of a sudden they can do so much more on the motorcycle. You see it. They don't care at that point. They don't care about the sound the motorcycle makes. Like it's not a thing. And I get it. Like, well, what will the races sound like? And Formula One goes through this. Like, one of the things they're actually trying to do with Formula One is trying to bring some of the sound back, because the turbos killed it. And it's interesting. I think I visualize what it's going to be like, but who knows? Yeah, I think it's because I'm not much of a quote fan of these kind of things. I'm more of a doer. So when I'm doing something, like in the grand scheme of things, how important is the sound that I'm creating to my experience? Other than when I've got you in my pocket, then it's everything. And then people tell me, dude, we can't see. Why did you, they told me I should do it with a GoPro, Jason.
No, I watched that one too. I watched.
Yeah, they told me I should do it. So I did it with a GoPro. I put it right back in my pocket. It looked exactly the same as my phone. So I don't know what they're trying to get at.
I think you misunderstood him, but
really? Yeah. Well, don't worry. When I come to the intro, I'll probably try to pour gas in your electric motorcycle too. So because I'm just a Neanderthal. So so on the fun level, I can just tell in your voice. I mean, because you even you were the press guy at Honda, and there was some things that you had to be. I learned from these guys. I can tell, and you'd come up to me and go, I'm not going to bullshit you. So I hear it in your voice. You're stoked on this thing.
No, I really am. And that was one of the things when I joined the company last year. Right away, I pushed. I said, look, I need to ride this thing. I can't bullshit people, right? I can't go, oh yeah, it's great. Oh, but I've never ridden it. Like, that's not my style, right? Like, I mean, right. I was at Cycle News for 12 years or 10 years or something, and tested every motorcycle or every motocross, off road and street bikes and everything. And then at Honda, like there was man, there was a lot of different models that came through, my hands before we gave them to you guys. And so, being that I joined, Can-Am, and that was my number one, and I was given the opportunity, recently to go out to test it at the facility, and it was a lot of fun. It was I kind of came there. I came there just full open-minded and just wanted to ride two wheels. So I'm a motorcycle rider. You know that. That's
Yeah, oh yeah.
And anything.
Well, now you're racing BMX.
Yeah, I mean, my son got me to race BMX, and now it's like whatever, anything. Like it doesn't even matter. But the bike it's a lot of fun. No matter your skill level, it is a lot of fun because of certain aspects of it, right? So, both of them, obviously being, an off-road and motocross and guy, that the Origin is, kind of my favorite, if I can say that. But man, that Pulse, the Roadster style one, that thing is really cool too. And so again, I just want to say so much, but it's one of those things where, like, I came away, really impressed, and I got back home and put together an email for the team, and just it was very much like a product, a bike review that I would do for the magazine, right? Like I was back in that book, like I was like
yeah.
And so, but yeah, we had a lot of fun, and like I said, the team is working hard at making it the best that it can be.
So we're couple weeks out from getting the info, the deep dive.
Yeah, so later this month, there's gonna be some information that can be shared. So I'll be in touch on that.
Cool.
As far as the general, like the full unveil, I will again, it's like I'll have some more information here, and then we can go from there. But in those videos that we sent, so you might see a little appearance in some of the videos that I sent over to you.
So we will. I'll try to pop those up on our social media channels, and then you can check that stuff out. So what do you think of the Stark Varg? Have you seen one?
Dude, that thing is cool, man. And you know what? I'm actually, I was a little bummed because I was invited to go over to Spain and test that thing over the summer, and it literally was right when I signed up over here at Can-Am. And so, yeah. And I was like, should I go? Like, can I? It was one of those things where I really, really wanted to go, but then I knew that it wasn't, the right thing to do, on the professional side. But man, that thing is bitching, that thing is, from a motocross standpoint. I think they did a good job. From what I've seen so far, it's hitting all the marks. I do have a local friend here in Idaho that is getting one. So
okay,
I will.
This is where I was going with it. They've just been dangling this carrot out there, and initially when their first stuff came up, when they talked about it, I was like, numbers a little too good to be true. Like it's a lot of false pretenses and stuff. Just at the time, and then I know there's one running around out in California someplace, and I got Trevor Hunter's on it. We're trying to track the guy down. Maybe we'll get a ride on one.
Yeah, I have a guy
we heard,
like I said,
we heard 30 minutes on the track. That's the only news I know about it.
30 minutes on the track. It has to be full power. Then if it's at 30 minutes, but then you would hope that the recharge rate would be fast enough where you could actually enjoy the whole day. You weren't sitting around.
30 minutes is more than. There's not too many people that do 30-minute motos.
Yeah, that's true.
As much motocross guys, as much guys that they talk about it. There's very few guys that are pumping out 30-minute motos.
Yeah, the vet guys
So
will do 15 minutes or whatever. But like I said, if you're interested, there is one going to be floating around very soon in the next like couple weeks, I believe. So,
cool.
yeah,
Do you want to stick around for Roost or Endo? Got a minute or two?
yeah, I do. That's actually like it's one of my favorite segments of the show. So
Okay, I gotta
I'm a
I gotta.
fan. I'm a
I
fan of
don't
the
know if
show,
that's
dude.
gonna work.
Oh, we don't know if it's gonna work.
I don't know.
It's in my phone. It's in my ear right now. Can you hear it?
I don't know if he can hear it.
Oh, he won't be able to hear it.
I can hear
We're
both
calling.
of you guys.
We're calling. Craig Hunter.
Yo.
You're live on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday.
Oh, how wonderful.
Well, I guess you had questions. Jason, can you hear Craig?
I can.
You can. Okay, good.
Okay. Can
But
Craig hear him?
Craig, can you hear Jason?
I cannot hear anybody except you.
Just me. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. You can hear Matt though. Say hi, Matt.
You should be able to hear me. Yeah. Hi.
Hear that?
Matt, barely.
Okay. Yeah, Matt's got a really quiet voice, and then you're also on the line with Jason Abbott, who you may not be able to hear, but I wanted you on because first of all, I guess you're trying to sell a motorcycle, Craig.
Oh, my KTM?
That's what I heard. Your kid.
Oh, okay.
Or did you want to call up and try to get me to pay him more, or did you want him to? Do you want him to move out to Nevada? So Craig Hunter, well, welcome to the show. He is the father of Trevor Hunter, the guy who he herds wild horses while he's racing in Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Trevor's famous for out here. So you called in. What was the what was? Did you have a question?
I had zero questions. My son, Trevor, said that you wanted me to call the show. That was it. That's all I know, man. So if Taco Tex is now running live classifieds,
yes,
perfect. Yeah.
Well,
I got a 21 450 XCF senior ridden.
Senior ridden.
Senior ridden. It's ready to go.
Okay, so
Cone Valve Forks. What do we got?
I'll ask you more questions about this in a few minutes. Are you familiar with our segment we call Roost or Endo?
No clue.
No clue.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Is Trevor near you? Can he pull this up on the screen so you can look at some things? Because this segment is brought to you by Taco Moto. That's tacomoto.co, and we have this segment called Roost or Endo, where basically viewers of this show send us a picture of their bike, and we like it to be a really nice picture, but sometimes we get bad ones. But they send us a picture of their bike, and then they tell us a little bit about it. And then our job as professional motorcycle reviewers is to tell you whether that bike roosts or endos. So I thought, and so we started calling this for a while. We started calling Roost, Endo, or for sale, because people that wanted to sell their bike found a great way to advertise it. Like Ricky Brabeck was probably the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he had a bike for sale, hey, I got a new bike. He'd say, oh yeah, we'll squeeze it in.
Yeah.
Show up on the show, and then it, the list looked just like it would be on the classifieds. The only thing he didn't put in there was the price.
We're still waiting on the finder's fees, by the way.
Finder's fees, yeah, he'd sell them right away.
Yeah.
So Craig Hunter, Jason Abbott, welcome to Taco Moto's Roost or Endo. Matt's going to call up the first bike. We're going to look at it. If you can't see it, we'll give you the best description possible.
Look,
Okay.
I got Trevor's here. Trevor's pulling it up. He's opening it up.
He's your technical expert.
My technical expert is pulling it up.
Okay. Jason, can you see it?
Yes, I can.
All right. So
I'm sure there's a long list of people looking to buy my bike. I mean, this is.
So
I
what,
mean-
2020 what? 2020?
2021.
2021 KTM 450 XCF.
Yep.
Vet ridden.
See, Magnum.
So I'm pretty sure, just because I know a thing or two, that where are the stock forks?
The stock forks?
Yeah.
The stock forks are probably in Todd Davis's garage, which I could put back on the bike. That was the deal.
Okay, because
yeah.
I'm sure these Trevor acquired these janky cone valve forks, and you just thought they were better, so you threw them on there.
I got to tell you, I mean, I'm a believer in those cone valves over the air forks.
Okay,
I can see you now. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I see you look great in that Hawaiian shirt.
It's a river shirt. Actually, I should come visit you on the lake. And Ricky got me this. It's called a river shirt, evidently.
Yeah, if you come out the weekend of the 12th, you can come out. We'll give you a nice fast boat ride, and we'll throw back some Sierra Nevadas and have a good time.
I'll pound hoops with Trevor in the morning. It'll be a complete day.
There you go.
All right. So we'll get going on this first segment.
Okay, first bike.
So this is Scott Allen.
Allen.
He submitted a 2018 KTM 450 EXC 6-day edition. Mods include Cycra handguards, Moscow Moto Reckless bags, JD Jetting EFI tuner. Picture taken last year while riding on the Washington backcountry discovery route north of Concurrently, Washington. Conculi?
Oh, you can't say the name.
I can't say the name. Well, it says it's misspelled according to Google Docs.
Okay. Well, sometimes the names are misspelled. So he had an easy name to remember, and I can't remember.
Scott Allen.
Scott Allen.
He's got 2 first names.
Scott, next time your buddy takes your picture, turn into the light a little bit. Just maybe a 3/4 lighting. You think, Matt?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Having a hard time. Those bags are good though, right?
Yeah.
Happy
Good
with
bags.
Happy with the bags.
Yeah.
Matt survived most of our Cove ride with those bags. Although I'd do all the heavy lifting. I had 128 pounds of crap on my motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And you had how much?
Like 30.
I had 100. I don't remember. 100.
You had 100 something. I had like maybe 4. I had just under 40.
Under 40 pounds. I didn't know it was that much.
I thought it was like.
I thought it was.
Was it
20.
nearly 30 or nearly 40?
Nearly 30. So that makes 28. You texted me.
Yeah. I texted it so I don't have to remember it.
I'm struggling with this one. I want a better photo. What I'm liking that he didn't put a big beluga pipe on it. He didn't have a pipe, right? Didn't say pipe?
Nope.
He has a stock gas tank too. How do you do a BDR with a stock gas tank unless one of his recluse or his
Oh, yes, well, yeah.
what?
Oh.
You okay? Talk to the show, Craig. Tell us what you think.
Oh, what do I think?
Yeah.
Oh, this is so far out of my realm. I mean, if I'm not on a GP track, I mean, to me, it looks like a lot of extra weight. And I don't like taking long rides, but it doesn't look abused to me. I mean, it looks good.
You just went on.
I like it.
You just went. Okay, you just went a 12-day vacation. Evidently, taking your son fishing all the time. You know how much better fishing spots you could have got to if you had this bike, because you could easily strap a fishing pole to the side of this thing.
Yeah, I seriously have to admit, I would, as I get older, I think maybe I should race less and maybe start doing some of these longer excursions. I don't know.
Yeah, eventually you'll catch up with me.
Right? Maybe you need to invite me on one of your death marches across the desert or something.
No, I'm getting old. Actually, only go riding. Only go riding with me when my wife goes. Okay, Jason, what's your take on it? You like this? I know this. Oh, we lose him? Did you lose him?
I'm asking him to unmute here.
You muted him?
No, I think he might mute himself.
There you
muted
go.
himself?
Yeah,
He probably had kids
that.
yelling at him.
All good.
No,
I'm
I
gonna
had
change
to
the
get
security settings so you can mute. Sorry. Go
Yeah, I had to get another beer. So
to make Roost or Endo go down easier. Hey, by the way, I'm drinking tonight. I'm not actually drinking tequila. We'll go and drop the picture down real quick.
Yep.
Yeah. So you go to the close up there. So today, Addictivo. So this is actually a whiskey, made by a Mexican tequila company. And it's tequila. It's whiskey that's aged in barrels that held tequila before, and before that they held whiskey. So it's really good, super smooth, super tasty. Okay, back to our bike.
Yep.
Back to our bike.
To our bike. Jason.
you know what? This guy's doing it, man. Like he's living his best life right there.
Yeah.
I applaud him for getting out there. The stock take is definitely a head scratcher with that large of bag on the back. You know, that's like an adventure style bag. But he has all the goodies, right? The hand guards. He has the straps in case he goes off trails and he's just pull his bike
Yeah.
back up on the trail. Like, like he's doing it. I hope he has a C concept seat on there too.
I definitely like a bigger I'd like a bigger gas tank, but other than that, I'm gonna go Endo.
It's a Roost, man. That's a Roost.
Craig? Roost or Endo? Where'd he go?
I'm here now to try to mute on my phone, but no.
Because
I think it's a Roost for sure.
Okay. Jason, you're roosting. I know this.
Yeah, that's a Roost all day.
It's thinking he's a bigger gas tank. Okay. There we go. Next bike up.
Okay. Well, let me gotta rearrange some stuff here. Okay. So this is a resubmission. Actually, this person had previously submitted this bike, but we made fun of the photo, so he resubmitted with a different photo. So this one's from don't have the name, I just have the email, which is guntrip at something.com. I forgot. 2017 Husqvarna FE250 submitted by Graham Guntrip. Second submission of the same bike. Jimmy hammered me on the first one. Moto Titty Tail, fork mounted signal lights, Moto Z tires.
So that's a bitchin' photo because I want to ride there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good photo. He got the lighting a lot better in our first submission. It's a little neutral.
His submission before, it was just like straight on from the back, so we only saw like the rear tire and the rear fender.
Imagine if he walked around the back of this bike and just shot a picture of the bike, but he was standing like right on top of it, so all you saw was like mud and dirt. So good job on that. Nice stock bike. I'm liking that. Pays a viewer of the show definitely.
Mm-hmm. If you put titty tail in it,
tail,
you're a real one.
Yeah, that's the Moto titty tail. tacomoto.co helping us out with this. $100 gift certificate up for grabs. Roost for following instructions.
Major Roost, because I remember his first submission, the riding area looked amazing.
Yeah. Oh, the riding area did?
Yeah.
Even from behind?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't remember this.
You actually saw more of the trail than the
savers
bike.
on there.
So is this Roost or Endo, Craig?
Is there seal savers on those forks?
I don't think so.
Oh, there might be.
It looks like there is.
I'll zoom in, but
Mac can zoom in.
I'll zoom in, but the fork guard, it just looks like the fork guards, honestly. It's just the way the angle and the way that right there is just the fork seal, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Okay.
There's something up there, but yeah. Jason?
Man, I'm pumped on this. It's the guy's doing a good job. I just wish I would be able to see more of the mountain. Like he's blocking the mountain with his bike. I want to see the outdoors.
Let me see if I can find his original post, his original submission really quick.
You know what's funny though? It's like I feel like I've been there. It feels like this one place on the tour of Idaho it's just, I remember it was this one place we spent a lot of time up there shooting part of the video.
Oh, I remembered it wrong. It was backwards. It was the front we could only see.
Front of the bike.
Okay. So here's his original submission.
Where haven't you been, Jimmy? That's the question. Where haven't you been?
Yeah, I remember all we talked about was the riding. We wanted to go do hill climbs over. We wanted to go to Erzberg over there on the side of the hill. He told us where it was, I think, when we did it, but he doesn't have to say it. It's his own private Idaho. I'm going with Roost. So next.
Oh wait, Jason
Jason roosted it.
Yeah, it's a Roost. Okay. That his second picture was a lot better. That first one that's crazy. It literally from.
I mean, it makes you. Both of them make you want to go to ride. I mean, he. I guess he deserves a resubmit. We allow this every once in a while. We break our own rules. They're just guidelines, anyways.
All right, so this next submission is going to be from one Christopher Weekly.
Tech guy wants to know, what is the freaking email address?
Matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com.
Matt@jimmylewisoffroad.com. You put it in there, you're going to get so spammed.
Nothing new. Anyway, so this next one is Christopher Weasley. Not Weekly, Weasley. 2021 Beta 300RR, FMF Power Core Silencer, Super Sprock Sprockets, Dunlop AT81 EX rear, IRC VX30 front, TM Design skid plate, Polysport clutch and ignition cover, a Cherubies VSL headlight, fork shoes, and a front rotor guard. Torque 1 levers, Pro Taper AFC bars, and all Moto Performance revalved and properly sprung suspension. The engine is virtually untouched because it's perfect. It's without a doubt going to be my forever bike.
Okay, so he's not interested in buying your bike, Craig, which is a 2021 KTM 450 XCF that's for sale. What is how do people contact you to buy this particular bike that you've wrecked the forks on?
I wrecked the forks on.
No,
as
I'm
Dave
just...
Payson would say, I stock is best, but they can reach out through Trevor. I mean, or through you, right? I mean,
just go to dirtbiketest.com. Say, where is this Craig's bike for sale? And you're selling it because you're trying to support your kid's racing habit.
Right. He's sucking me dry. I got to sell everything to keep him going.
Okay, so I betas look sharp.
Yeah, they were good looking
Yeah,
bikes.
they have that Italian sexy to them. 300R is a great bike. I kind of like his color combo there, even with that plastic front disc guard. You know, I'm a fan of those, not the big metal ones. It almost looks like he was standing like right down the trail from our first photo guy.
Yeah.
Like the background, it looks like the same mountains, kind of the same zone. But
that does look a lot like the 2013 that John had too. That engine.
Well, the engine's exactly the same.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty close. Yeah, if it's his forever bike, he's stoked on it. That's good. Nice picture. He almost clipped off his tail there, but Matt zooms them in sometimes and can't really judge a whole lot. There's not a super hot swimsuit model right behind the bike on the side of the bike or anything like that.
No.
That's why it's not called Roost or Endo or strippers, because everything is better with strippers. Craig, what do you think?
The beta, I don't know. Are there too many aftermarket parts? I don't know. I mean, sometimes they bolt on all this stuff.
How much aftermarket stuff does yours have on it besides the forks?
That is all stock. Everything is stock. Stock exhaust. Stock.
Yep. So
I do have a seat. I have a seat concepts. I have the what do you have, the Enduro seat, Trevor? Is that what it is?
Oh, with the
comfort, the Comfort XL seat on my bike.
What? on a Grand Prix race bike?
On a GP Master race bike, I sure do.
So, because this guy has seat concepts, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. So this is seat concepts. You should.
I can't believe Trevor should be able to get a picture of my bike over to you. I mean, with all his technology, he should be able to have something over to you.
We don't. I told him that there's no way we're going to promote you selling your bike on the show. I said this is not going to happen. You didn't even know why you called, and I told him
I don't know why. I still don't know why.
I told him we're not going to try to sell Craig's 2021 KTM 450 XCF with cone valve forks. That bike. I mean, that's the bike that everybody really wants, especially if they don't want to go buy a brand new one. And they want to get a used one. It's a really good bike. What's the finder's fee again that I'm going to get for this?
I think at least 20%.
20%. Okay.
I think we charge steep here.
What now that we're just dabbling in this because we didn't want to talk about it. How much are you selling it for?
Any reasonable offer.
Reasonable offer accepted. Is there a discount if they come through a dirt bike test somehow?
Sure.
We arrange this.
100%. I'll share the love.
I have
a affiliate link going.
I will get a link going. I have a truck that needs some dent removal. I don't know if you've heard about this. Maybe we could work a deal.
We can work a deal because my son, he's took all my tools and he's on his way to success right now. So
1-800 Dent Doc.
Correct.
I don't go throw free gratuitous plugs out. 1-800dentdoc.com. So if you do, then you're gonna have Trevor come to your door, and while he's pulling the dents out of your truck, he'll talk Moto the whole time.
Yeah.
So
you get a twofer with Trevor.
The Beta, Roost, or Endo?
For me, it's good. These guys, I've actually ridden these bikes. I've raced them at a 24-hour. They're awesome bikes. So
somebody want to know how durable they are.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of our questions. Durable, yeah,
very
really
durable.
Yeah.
Very good bikes.
Roost for me as well. And Jason?
Yep, it's a Roost. This bike it looks really clean.
People are starting to learn not to send us. They're starting not to send us crap anymore.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
too many
Yeah,
Roosts.
no, this is good, and I feel bad because I'm like trying to pick it apart, but it's not. On a side note, I do have a 2003 CR250 for sale if anybody is interested.
2003
Yeah.
CR250. I'm trying to think of. Let's see. Oh, so 97 was the first year of the aluminum frame. Is that the first year the frames got kind of skinny?
Yeah, so that was so what 02 was the first year. After that 01 that was really square, and then it got skinny on the 02, and then the 03, and then they
Right.
changed again on the 05. The 05 through 07 was a different one. The 02 through 04
Electric power valve or not?
electric power valve, yes. The RC
Electric
valve,
power valve.
or whatever. Yeah,
RC
yeah.
valve. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Instabog power valve.
Yeah, it's I do have it dialed in though, because we were able to get some specs from the guys.
Some good stuff.
Yeah, from the guys, So
That should, with all the popularity in the two strokes, that thing, especially the Hondas these days, that should get you some. So yeah, we're not talking about any bikes for sale. So that bike Roost, it's a triple Roost.
Yeah, Roost.
Matt, quadruple Roost. Okay.
Yeah. We might have our first Endo of the night, though.
Oh, first Endo.
And
Here
it's
we
funny
go.
you bring up Hondas.
I'm getting excited. Well, it's not all KTM's as usual, right?
Yeah.
I got a preview right
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So we have our first probable Endo here.
Wait a minute. Okay, at least it doesn't even fit on the screen.
No.
Okay, so it's shot vertical on the phone.
Yep.
He sent his phone screen in. What do we have here?
From Connor Steele, a 2006 CRF 250X. The only mods are a tuck gummy rear with moose, White Bros muffler with $40 which was $40 on Craigslist, a Cherby skid plate, springs for rider weight, airbox opened up, carb was rejetted, emissions blocked off. I typically ride a 450, but I'm convinced this is the best trail bike out there. Just wish it was fuel injected.
So he said the only mods are, and then he made a list that's a mile long.
No, like 6 mods, yeah.
Well, it seemed like you were listing off mods for a long time. I actually have to.
Gummy tire.
It said only mods, and then I was expecting one, and when you just kept rattling on, I started adjusting knobs on the soundboard because it was more
to be
interesting.
fair, he says mods plural.
Oh, okay, so 2. I should have waited for 2.
Yeah, at least.
Because you started saying tire, and I saw that, and then I saw the muffler.
Mm-hmm.
And was that the second thing? No.
Yeah.
A
White Bros
Brothers
muffler, which was only $40 on Craigslist.
It's a used one because I was saying if it's $40, it was an Amazon full knockoff, like the Pro Circuit muffler I got for my my CRF 230. Mark says this is an Endo because you have so many great bikes.
Horrible picture.
Horrible picture. Yeah, you took at least 30 seconds to do the picture.
Like his shadows in the picture, you can see another bike there.
That's the bike shadow.
No,
His shadow can't be in that picture, Matt, because of the way the shadow's going.
Yeah.
Aren't you like a rocket scientist or something?
No, I'm not a rocket scientist.
Okay.
No, you put me away from whiteboard. I'm not very smart.
Oh, you need a whiteboard to figure things out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. Connor's in the chat right now. Last minute trail pick. Okay. Endo. Yeah. I think that is a good bike. And his mods. Yeah, he's done the things to it that make it a really good bike. Because on the 250s, on the 450s, you can get away with running a stock muffler on those, but on the 250s, you need to do something to them. And if you have the quiet insert on the White Brothers pipe, those pipes used to make power, and they're also long, so they actually weren't that bad. Yeah, Endo because of the photo. I think the bike Roost, the photo Endos, and that's where I'm at.
Endo for me. What about you guys?
Craig?
Yeah, there's nothing there for me. I mean, that's not my appetite. It's not my wheelhouse.
What about
sorry.
What about the KTM in the distance? You're just a KTM guy now.
No, believe it or not, I may be going blue, but the KTM. I can't talk bad about them. They've been awesome. My last 3 bikes have been KTM's, and they've never left me stranded. They're solid bikes.
Okay, Connor said he was too busy roosting to get a good photo. That's a good thing. And here comes in our guy that just gives everything a roost. Jason, what are we saying?
Well, it's an Endo. The photo I usually like only like ass shots of certain
only certain kinds of ass shots.
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, I tend to agree. It's a multiple Endo. And he's submitted a few different bikes, hasn't Connor?
I think so.
Yeah, a few different bikes over the years. So we have anything? One more.
One last one.
One last one.
It's another Honda too.
Is it?
Yep.
Looks orange in the photo. Well, I'm just so drawn to the KTM in the background, right? What?
So
that is not a. Is that?
Oh
it is
my
a
God.
Honda.
that's
a
it.
2019 450L set up to be a solid dual sport.
That's a huge
You
tank.
can see the front fender there. But anyway,
The droopy front fender.
yeah, the highlights are it's a 20 liter Nomad tank with radiator guards, stealthy flywheel weight from Moto, resistor mod on coolant temperature sensor to fix Honda's jerky throttle, disables 100% fuel cut and thermostatic switch in the coolant hose for the fan, steg pegs, fast weight Evo 4 pegs within the low position, Zeta 30mm internal lowering kit front and rear, added SKF dual friction seals while I was in there, Canon Racecraft spring, AXP Moose skid plate, tubeless front and rear, double take mirrors, tail titty with a flipped brake lights lens to keep the mud off of it, heated grips for early/late season riding, homemade stuff was a wide comfortable seat, had light lift to clear the fender bag and raise the windscreen, cut down a windscreen from a Cowie Z900 and also made a custom dash with tack, USB charger, and bypass switches for the resistors. And then he sent me a little bonus stuff about the bike in the background too.
Which
But
is it's an XR650.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I have to pull up his email again, but I'm really sure it was.
I can see he's got the big Achirby's tank. So
XR650 in the background.
yeah. So that guy loves his motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell he's a Honda guy to go to those lengths. And he's I mean, to go to do the resistor stuff and to do all that thing, he's working on some things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like tuning it to his needs. From that standpoint, it roosts. Roost on the 450L, lose for the tubeless and stuff for a failure. I kind of feel the same way about tubeless for dual sport use. I mean, there's some reasons it can be an advantage, and other reasons it's maybe there's one extra thing to fail inside there. But you can say that about Moose, and you can say that about tubes and everything. So, and he made his own seat.
Yep.
So my question would be, would it have been less expensive to get a seat concept seat? Is it as good? That would be my question, because the seat concept seats are really, really good, especially the ones that have the extra padding and stuff. So I kind of like the effort that he went to this thing. He did a little bit of everything to it. Not my cup of tea, but he's kind of crossed off all the different things. Jason, I'm gonna let you go ahead and go. Former Honda guy.
Yeah, this guy went all out. This is more of a light adventure bike, what he's doing to it. I mean, it's well over 300 pounds with that tank and everything that he's putting on it, right? Because those things are high 280 stock.
Right.
I definitely appreciate the amount of effort that he put into it and the things that he did, because everything that he did was, along the right lines. But he definitely loves his bike. He's and it's funny. One of my buddies told me the other day, I said this on a ride years ago. said any day that you're riding next to like a river or you're riding up to a lake or whatever is a good day. So I'm going to roost on this one because this guy is out there and he's doing it. And I truly appreciate his enthusiasm with everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I said. I mean, it was, like I said, it's not exactly you know what, Matt, this guy could be a Cove rider.
Oh yeah.
Except a Cove's not a Honda.
It's not a Honda.
Not a Honda. So yeah, okay.
Even though this is the bike you compared it to.
Yeah, double. That is.
Yeah.
It's exactly, and especially with the tank. It's not a safari tank. What was the tank called?
It was a Nomad tank.
A Nomad. Well, maybe it is a safari Nomad. So is that what it's? Anyways.
Dude, that's like a 5 or 7 gallon tank. Like that thing's obnoxious.
Oh yeah, it's a big one. It's like it's like the Acerbis ones I run on my KTM's, big radiator, but does protect the radiators. Craig, not in your wheelhouse, but you went fishing last week.
Well, I will tell you though, my opinion is this guy gets an A+ for effort for personalization. The fairing, the number plate fairing, may be a little bit much, but once again, a lot of effort. The seat, what kind of foam did he use? Is it a My Pillow foam? What's going on underneath there? So, yeah, it's really not in my wheelhouse, but he gets huge effort for, a lot of mods there.
Yeah, I would take that fender bag off the front and get it someplace else, but maybe he needs all that extra storage. And then, if he compresses the suspension, he's going to get a very interesting noise when that front tire rubs on the fender. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm gonna have to go Roost. I think everybody's kind of in.
Oh, it's a Roost.
It's a Roost for you too. Yep. So okay, now it comes to the part of the show, and where we have to decide how we're gonna dish out Taco Mike's $100 taco bill. It's for me. It's down to 2 different bikes.
I have a clear winner.
You have a clear winner. Do you have a clear winner, Craig?
Well, the bike he already wants is you haven't put up on the screen yet.
Oh, you think you're gonna get $100 for a bike that you're trying to sell on this show? I'm gonna hang up on you.
Well, why not? I mean, come on, let's push the envelope.
Did Trevor already send you Did Trevor send you an email? Who knows?
I just emailed it to Matt. I just emailed the picture to Matt. It's sitting in his inbox.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. Next week, if it's not sold, we'll put it up there, and then you've never seen a bike endo so hard. We'll probably put it in there upside down and add some. We'll Photoshop it a little bit. Tell everybody what's really been done to it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, Jason, where are we at for your favorite? So Craig, which besides your bike that you're trying to sell for an undisclosed amount of money, yet to be determined, which one is your favorite bike of our bikes here?
The Beta.
The Beta. Okay.
Oh well.
Yep.
That was like no hesitation.
Yeah. Because it was the most race bike.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Vet racer Craig that I told him he could come out and take my class and I'd make him like 30 seconds a lap faster around a Grand Prix. Still hasn't taken me up on the offer.
Huh.
Yep.
If it would work, I would do it.
If it would work, I would do it. Yeah. Nobody believes me, Matt.
Money back guarantee.
Yeah, I'll do money back guarantee.
I'd even do one with a private lesson. I'll do a private money back guarantee.
Okay, there you got 2 people, two coaches that'll help you out. Jason, where are we at with which is our winner tonight?
So I'm a little all over the place. I have some favorites, but so that last guy with the 450L, the effort, like super impressed with that. With his light, that's a light adventure bike,
Sure.
The Beta was an amazing build, but he looks like he already has everything done to it. Like I wouldn't really change anything on that bike. The picture was good, but I'm gonna go with the first one because the guy took the effort to put himself in the photo as well, right? He's on the BDR. He has all of the bags, but I want to see him put a bigger tank on there so he could explore more, right? So that $100 will go towards his big tank, right? Like that looks just like that guy makes me want to ride, right? He's out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. He has his stuff. Like that's exciting to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm kind of right there with you on a lot of it. So for me, it was between this one and the second one, which was the guy who improved his photo.
That's my clear winner.
Really?
Like it's not even close for me because
Okay.
we loved the first submission he sent for the riding area, and this time he sent in a good bike.
And
this one's my winner.
And here's our thing, is that so I was in the same thing. I'm looking at this bike. It's pretty stock. He
could use the money.
He can use the money. It's pretty stock. But here's why I'm agreeing with Jason. I'm going with the first bike, because if he had actually gone out and shot a whole nother photo and gone to some extra effort to give us the photo he should have given us the first time, because I know this is the same photo in the same location. He just gave us a different. He sent us the wrong photo, so now he sent us the right photo in a resubmit, which I appreciate. It was good, but and he could use the money because he could do it with the bike. I like the guy that did the first one because he did it right pretty much the first time, even though it's a little bit backlit. I'm going with number one. I was almost gonna say, you know what, we didn't do a show last week, so we'll just give out 2 Taco Moto things and just cut Mike some slack on the back end of the contract. But I'm not going to do that. We're going with photo number one.
Okay.
So is a very simple name.
Scott Allen.
Scott Allen.
Congratulations.
Yeah, Scott Allen. Congratulations on winning that.
Reach out to me and we'll get you dialed in.
But you have to use the money to get a big tank. Yeah, you have to go to Taco Moto and get the big tank. I mean, $100 off a big tank is good. That's a good start because tanks are $200-300. Actually, what you need to do is get a big tank. And since you got the $100, use that to throw the fuel tank assembly into it. So you have a complete tank. And on that bike, it would take you 5 minutes to take the seat off, take your tank off, plop that tank on, and put the seat back on. If you had the tank, the fuel pump assembly in there. And then Taco Mike can also, one of the best things they sell are some of their upgraded fuel tank setups. So they have it all. It's all ready to plug and play with better fuel filters and better pumps and all the different things. So go to tacomoto.co if anything I just said interests you, or you want to just support the tell them Tech Talk Taco Tuesday sent you. It almost sounds like Taco Moto. Same thing. We're all about tacos.
Yeah.
Or pizza wheels, according to our buddy that was going to make us a new logo. So thank you, Jason. 2003 CR250 for sale.
Absolutely, and it's very clean. Has everything. I can show it to you. I'll send in the submission for next week.
Okay, we'll have a special segment of Roost, Endo are for sale next week with all of our contributors. Thanks for calling in, Craig.
Yes, sir.
Tell your kid to keep making me money. So I'm gonna let you go. We'll see you soon, Craig. Thanks for joining in.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Right on. And so we got Soaking Turtle says, "Hey Jimmy, I just picked up a 2023 YZ250X. Good job. I hope." He told his Yamaha dealer he heard about it on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Do you have any maps or advice for map advice for slow technical single track I ride out in Arizona? I'm going to tell you something you do out in Arizona. Don't touch the bushes. They all have pricks in them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that's what you do. Yeah, we do have some maps. You have a map?
No, I think it's just Trevor's map. I think
Trevor's map. Okay.
Yeah.
I do have some maps for that bike. So send us an email so I can email them to you. Go ahead and do it to jimmy@dirtbiketest.com, and I will be able to email them back to you in the format. I think I have to do it through the app.
Yeah,
That's the way you do it. So I actually need to get your email address in an easy way, and my fat fingers don't type email addresses very good. So that'll help you along. But on that bike, it's a little easier on the 250s than the 450s, and kind of getting a better map for some reason, just because most guys like it when you kind of smooth or shift the power down low, and that's what we did on that one. I like our maps on that bike.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah.
I haven't taken that thing out for a little bit, but it's just been too
Yeah, you
hot.
should ride dirt bikes. It's good. Actually, I wish I would have rode this morning, but I drove a tractor around instead because the dirt was wet.
Yep.
So, anyways, okay, that should wrap it up for most of our questions, most of our show. So, go to Yamaha. Yamaha released all their info on their new bikes. Check it out. It looks just like the old bike. It's showing a picture of back when I used to be able to get sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor wishes he could do photos like this.
Yeah. So wait, didn't you say you're actually more straight in that picture than it looks?
Is the camera tilted?
No.
No. So you can see. Actually, this is when they used to make magazines with real photos. So this is the photo they used to shoot the picture for the. They shot a photo and laid this thing out, and you can see where they cropped it with the pen, and they actually did change the angle. So if you look at the line that's kind of straight, and then this photo is like kind of tilted, like compared to the photo, they actually aligned it a little bit. So yeah, they gave me a little bit of cheap, but I think I'm probably just hopping over the backside of a berm or something like that.
I'm thinking of a different photo from Chris.
Oh yeah, no, that is a Chris Holtner photo. I can tell that guy was fun to work with. So, okay, everybody, thanks for happy hot days. Thanks, Dennis. Yeah, he's in Alaska, right?
Yeah,
it's
he
probably
just came back from Iceland too.
Nice days. Oh, he went on a ride up in Iceland.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So cool.
So everybody, thanks a lot for joining in. As always, support us. You can click through our Amazon and Rocky Mountain ATVMC links in our little thing at Dirt Bike Test. Just click drop down, get some of that stuff. There's links probably in the description of this show. Again, we'd like to thank Double Take Mirrors, Bulletproof Designs. Hey, I rode my KTM 300 when I was up in the mountains the other day, and it has the Bulletproof Designs pegs. And I was on a bike with stock pegs earlier.
Yeah.
And then I rode that one, and I'm like, oh my God, like so grippy. And I like grippy foot pegs. You know this. Fasst Company. I'm always running the Flex handlebars. Trail Tech, DDC, Climb, Scott Sports, Taco Moto, and Yamaha. Thanks to all those guys, and we will